Hi, I'm Matt. We're at Heeman's Greenhouses. We're going to talk to you about how to prune your tropicals before winter time. You want to give them a haircut, otherwise things will keep growing over the course of the winter and they get leggy. So generally by trimming things back, you encourage them to fill out and get bushy for the following season. This is called the Dipladenia. This is red, obviously. They also come in pink, occasionally white, but we're going to trim this and we'll see what we're left with at the end. It can be a little traumatic the first time, but don't be afraid. They are pretty resilient and they will bounce back very quickly. By trimming them back, you encourage them to bush out and force new growth, which is usually healthy, and that's where you get the nice lush color and lots of blooms. This is a fairly good specimen. It's been well fertilized through the season.
So how do you know where you're pruning?
Well, generally what I do is I look at last season's growth, and this one has been stored for a number of seasons, so you can see the cuts from last year. Here's an example here, right there. So I look for something like that. You can see this growth has been forced by this cut right here. So this is all growth from this season. So I usually cut and I leave 1 or 2 sets of leaves on each branch. So you're left with this little spur here. That will branch out well, and hopefully you get 3 or 4 branches off that one. It'll look a little rough for the first few weeks, but you'll start to see new shoots forming very, very quickly. This will also eliminate the amount of space you need for your plant. And if there did happen to be any insect pests or anything, this will also limit the amount that comes into your home. I would suggest you'd want to spray this down with soapy water after it's been completed before you bring it into your house. I would also recommend doing this either outdoors or in the garage or somewhere, because they do drip sap. As you can see by my hands, you may want to wear gloves. Scissors are likely not sharp enough to do this. Okay, so we're nearly done here. Once you get the initial kind of outer branches trimmed back, you can have a little bit of a better look at the interior. On occasion you'll find dead branches and stuff that you'd likely want to trim out. They don't do anybody any good inside. Just double check before you make your cut that you're not trimming anything that's part of the overall structure of the plant. Some plants you trim fairly heavily right back to the ground. This is one that we leave the overall structure. This one is growing on a metal trellis here, so we leave the main vines on the trellis and just cut these little side shoots back, so you leave little spurs, and those will branch over the course of the winter. And then come spring, when the days get longer and we start to get some warm weather, they'll grow like crazy. By trimming it back, you also sort of eliminate the need for lots of water. Watering is key over the course of the winter time. You want to allow your plants to dry slightly between waterings. If the soil seems moist, I would say don't water it, just leave it for a few days and check it again. And we still recommend fertilizing through the winter, but you generally don't want to give it too much nitrogen, otherwise you can get kind of leggy growth, but it is still important to feed on occasion. Not quite as much as you would through the season, or the growing season, but you don't want to neglect them too much. I would put this in the brightest location in my home that I have available, which is another good reason for trimming it back, because it does shrink it quite a bit, as you can see. So what I would do is, at this point, look for any dead branches and get rid of those. There's always these little twiggy bits that can be trimmed out. But this customer has done a good job through the winter, the summer, so this is a pretty good, healthy plant overall. I would say that's just about right.
Good job, Matt.
Thank you.